One thing that has set Sterling Lighting apart from all other manufacturers over the last 13, 14 years is our focus on light quality. So often we have heard people say that the light quality doesn't matter. They're focused more on communications and technology than they are on light quality. As a lighting designer, light quality is my #1 thing that I'm looking for in a luminaire. It is the most important thing. It is much more important than communication, and we put our money where our mouth is. We seek after the best light sources possible. We have pushed the envelope on quality of light with LEDs, and we have truly matched where we were in halogen, and we are so excited for the future. I believe that as a lighting designer, the photometrics are one of the most important tools you could have in lighting. And I'm gonna talk about this a little bit today, and I have an entire series coming out is understanding the terminology and what the photometric charts mean. If you are not provided or using photometrics on your light fixture selection or your luminaire selection, you're missing out on so much information that is helpful in lighting design. So I want to go over some basic things before we go into our in-depth course on understanding terminology and the power of the photometric report. This is the TM30 report. If you're buying light fixtures from any manufacturer and you are not getting these reports, I would not buy their luminaires, their fixtures, because you are just basing it on their independent test and not on a third-party independent testing agency such as UL or ETL, which is what Sterling Lighting has invested so much money. So we actually perform all of the tests in the light fixture with all of the shrouds and glare guards so that you have the full photometric understanding of what that light is actually going to do. And we also do it at every single light level. We are huge proponents of dip switches. Dip switches actually give us consistency from one luminaire to the next to ensure that all of our lights are perfectly even. So we have done a TM30 report for every luminaire at every light setting, and it's available to you on our website. This may seem very complicated, and it's because it is. I actually have a course that we're getting ready to produce that actually goes through every bit of terminology in lighting design so you can understand what we mean as we're going through these charts. And it also will help you so much more to understand what the light levels are before you get on the job. We look to see the light level to understand how that light makes us feel. The scientific data also gives us that information, takes so much of the guesswork out. So if you go into any one of our luminaires, such as our SL01, you have the full photometric report, the TM30 report. This will tell you the lumen output, it'll tell you the wattage output, it'll tell you the beam angle, the field angle, the CRI, the RF, RG. This may seem like scientific terminology that you may not use in lighting design, but as you advance in lighting design, this information is so valuable to your designs to take the guesswork out of your luminaire selection and your light level selection. So when you go onto the first page, you'll see on our photometrics each level of light output. So that's going to start with lumens. Lumens will not tell you your center beam candle power. It doesn't tell you what your overall light level on the ground is, what your lux is, or what your foot candles are. These reports will actually show you all of that information. So when we have the full course, I hope that as a lighting designer you'll stay tuned for all of it because it's filled with information. When I went through my LC exam, this is what we were tested on, is understanding this information. And we adapted it into Sterling Lighting to give the best lighting designers all the information you need. This report right here, the TM30 report, talking not only about CRI, but also talking about your RF, RG levels, is so invaluable. So up at the top here, you see the black line represents natural daylight, perfect light. That's what we're trying to achieve, is that natural light. The line in red marks what the LED light level is doing, how it is doing on each color. This circle is so important. When you look at the photometrics of the light source you're using, how close are you matching that perfect circle of light? Are you oversaturated? Are you undersaturated? And then we look at what we're doing in colors, both in CRI and in the RF-RG ratings. The TM30 report is much more robust than just CRI, and we get to see at the different light levels what the colors are actually looking like. Even in the best light sources out there in landscape lighting, the R value tends to be very low in the 50s and 60s. And in many light sources, you're getting down to the 30s and 40s, which is not showing the colors. So if you want your projects to look amazing, you want the vibrant colors of the garden, you want the flowers to showcase all the colors that are in that garden, you want your trees to show the 5 different textures of color and bark, or the leaves to show the 3 to 5 different shades of green in each leaf, you need to have high ratings on your RFRG, on your TM30 report, on your CRI, and we back all of this up with third-party independent testing. So if you're truly comparing light products out there and you're a lighting designer, this is what you're looking for. You are looking for full data, all the information you're going to need. The electrical requirements from the VA rating to the wattage, to the actual performance of the light, what your CRI looks like, and how your lights are actually going to perform when they're hitting the ground. I can actually tell from these reports how big of a circle of light and what my foot candles are going to be at the light level without ever having to go out into the field to test it myself. So as we develop elevating the industry, providing better light, and understanding the scientific data that goes into lighting, it's going to enhance your conversations with your customers, it's going to enhance your lighting designs, and it's also going to reduce the amount of adjustments you're going to need in your lighting designs for the final nighttime reveal. So at Sterling Lighting, we are truly dedicated to light quality. We lead the industry in light quality. And as a lighting designer, I know you appreciate seeing the difference, to see the level of light and how much better it makes your projects look. My introduction to photometric reports really was overwhelming at the time, and at the beginning I didn't see the need for it. After all, I had years and years of experience of actually being in the field at night, doing nighttime adjustments, doing nighttime demonstrations, so I understood what the light fixture was going to do in different applications. And I wasn't sure of the usefulness of this when I first started off back in 2013 and 14. It really took me taking the LC course, lighting certified by the NCQLP. It was a very tough course. 6 months of evening classroom time, 3 hours a night, twice a week, and a final test of 180 questions that took over 4 hours and took me a time or two to pass it. That opened my eyes to understanding there's a scientific definition to what light does. There is a standard unit that is used to measure light. So often I would go to a course at ILI and I would hear other lighting designers say, I wish there were standardization in lighting. I wish that a lumen always meant a lumen and a foot candle always meant a foot candle. And they weren't using all the terms, many of the designers, properly, and so there was a standardization, but most manufacturers avoided it. Most manufacturers really don't want you to see the light quality that they have. They want to focus on the other attributes, such as communication, which is not as important. So if you're looking to dive deep, the book that I had is about 1,200 pages on lighting design, and it really goes through the terminology and the usefulness of it. Just to get an idea of the depths you could go to in understanding light, light output, light measurement, and the terminology, this was our handbook for the LC course. Understanding everything in this book. Lighting is lighting, whether it's interior lighting, stage lighting, stadium lighting, or landscape lighting. Light measurements, light terminology is all the same. And so understanding how we actually measure light, how light performs, the terminology used, whether it's illumination, illumination, flux, candela, there's so much terminology to understand, and each one of are important. Having a standardized measurement is so important to get the consistent light quality from one project to the next, from one luminaire to the next, and Sterling Lighting truly leads the industry in light quality. If you're newer to the industry and you want to learn more and have more education on lighting, simple terminology makes all the difference. I hear so often people talk about wattage when it comes into light output. Wattage is a form of energy. It's like asking somebody, how much do you weigh? And they respond with 6'4". It makes no sense at all. Wattage has nothing to do with light output. The second thing is lumens. When you're comparing lumens in fixtures, it's so important to understand is what are they actually measuring? First of all, was it a third-party test or was it a test they did themselves? And then is it a bare lamp test versus a fixture lumen test? If you're using bare lamp testing, like you see in many manufacturers making fixtures and what you see in all MR16s, the bare lamp test could be off by 20 to 40% in either direction because we have no idea what the light is doing when it hits a shroud, when it hits glass, when it hits a glare guard. All of those reduce lumen output. If you want to compare one fixture and one light source to another, it's important that they're all on a standardized test. Sterling Lighting has led the way, and we offer full photometrics that are open to anybody to look at, and our hope is that the entire industry invests in full photometric reports. If you're new in the industry and you're looking at comparing light fixtures, you're looking at comparing light sources, this is where I would go. I would go to the TM30 report and look at the light level and how well that light is lighting different colors. The higher this number is, the closer it is to 100, the better your light quality is going to be. This is where I would start. Long before I get into lumens and light output, I want to first look at light quality and then start building my terminology and understanding from there. I'm a huge proponent for continuing to educate yourself, continuing to learn about light, not only design, but also what goes into making great lighting. Our course will be coming up that will be an in-depth collegiate level course that's going to teach you everything you're going to want to know about light and light quality. It's what's impacted me on my fixture designs, it's what impacts me on my lighting designs, and it's what's going to help set yourself apart from your competition when your competitors only talk about simple things such as wattage or lumens, and you could go into in-depth understanding of light levels and knowing what that light is going to do long before you ever install it. It's going to give you a step up in your conversations to your customers and on your installation with your team. At Sterling Lighting, our team pushes themselves to have greater knowledge and greater understanding and continuing to learn about lighting so that we could be a better partner for you, so that we could be a resource in your lighting designs and growing your business.